What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back for another live Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle against a subscriber/follower on Twitter. Today, we are going up against my good pal TJ in an NU battle, and I'm going to be bringing a very similar team compared to the one that I brought for the Mega Camera Up Suspect Test session, which by the time this goes up on the channel, it may have been a week or two ago since you've seen that, but the team will probably look familiar if you did happen to watch that. So I did switch out the Mega Camera Up, though, and we have a Metatite, which is Choice Scarf, which is different from that team, and I also have a Choice Banded Scyther, which I originally had on the first team, but then switched it out before I did the session. So, yeah, that's part of the team. As for the rest of the team, I guess I'll just go over it right now since I'm talking about it. We have a Hazard Stack, Physically Defensive, Rocky Helmet, Garbodor. We have Mixed Defense, Lantern with that slow Volt Switch. We have the Scald, of course, as well for burns, and Water Stab, and then the Heal Bell as a Cleric. And then we have Physically Defensive Xatu, which prevents hazards because I do not have any Rapid Spin or Defog support, which may seem kind of silly to have on a team with Scyther, but I play Xatu kind of recklessly, or not recklessly, but I should say aggressively to keep those hazards off the field. That's basically what Xatu is there for. It also has the T-Wave, so it can support the team. Wow, I'm having some voice cracks. It can support the team by slowing down some faster threats. And then, last but not least, we have Spectra with a Colbur Berry to be able to take knockoffs a little bit better. It also is carrying the Nasty Plot, so we should be able to hit some things somewhat hard. Dazzling Gleam is our coverage move of choice, so we can hit things like Hariyama, but Sawk will work as well. That Sawk is probably going to be choiced. Looking at his team, I want to say that's Choice Scarfed. The Rapid Dash is going to be, I don't know, it could be Choice Band, it could be Life Orb, probably one of the two. That Sand Slash is something I want to play around because it does have the Rapid Spin and the Stealth Rock. So we could get into a 50-50 where I'll either have to allow rocks to be set up and go into Miss Magius to prevent him from spinning, or accept that he's going to spin and go into Xatu to prevent him from setting up those Stealth Rocks. I see the Probopass as another potential rock setter, but looking at his team, that might actually be offensive. And it's a subscriber of mine, a very good friend of mine, so I know he likes to bring cool stuff, so that might not just be your standard defensive Probopass. He also has that Dragonair, which is likely going to be Shed Skin Dragon Dance, which is kind of scary. That thing is capable of sweeping entire teams, and it's very underrated in my opinion. So anyway, we're going to lead off with Scyther here. And this is not a good matchup for me because I do believe this thing is Scarfed, so I'm going to go directly into Garbodor because it is a relatively safe switch. The best thing that he can do is Earthquake, but he's not going to Earthquake with Scyther out in the field unless he really wants to make that prediction, but that's really risky because if he gets it wrong, I can just Aerial Ace him and he'll be dead. So I don't think he's going to make that play, at least not turn one. That might be something he does later on, but if I can weaken this thing, I can pick it off with a Choice Banded Quick Attack. So that is the plan here. So we'll see what he goes for. I'm expecting a Stone Edge, I can't think of what I wanted to say. Oh, he actually goes for the knockoff. Okay, fair enough. So he's going to get rid of our Rocky Helmet, but his Sturdy is also going to be broken by that. I was kind of expecting a Stone Edge there, just because I was thinking maybe he would think I wouldn't expect him to be Scarfed, and therefore I would stay in. But if I did stay in, he'd be dead, or down to his Sturdy, I should say. But it wasn't worth it either way, so we did go into the Garbodor, and now I can set up whatever hazard I want. I think Toxic Spikes are going to be a little bit more beneficial for me, so I am going to take this turn to set them up, because it'll allow me to wear down that Sand Slash too, so it won't be able to just continually switch in and be a threat to my team, because, yeah, it becomes a 50-50 on what I want to go into once that thing comes out, so we'll have to see. We will have to see. He is going to go into Ducky, which is the Porygon. He's going to trace the Aftermath. So if we end up killing it with a physical attack, I guess we'll have to take some extra damage. This thing, I don't know what it's going to be. It could be like a manual, or not manual, but a like a Trick Room setter for itself. That could be kind of scary. It could be Charge Beam. It does have reliable recovery and recover. I don't know what else it would be running. I'm not really sure. I am not really sure. I'm kind of scared about it, to be honest. I don't have much that I can switch into this. I do have Lantern, and that might be my best bet because it's my bulkiest thing to take special hits, and I do resist the Bolt Beam combination, so he would have to go for Tri-Attack. And, I mean, that's just asking for status. But as long as he doesn't freeze me, I mean, I don't know. What is he really going to do to me? Part of me really wants to stay in, but I feel like, he could be defensive too, actually. I'm going to set up a spike here. I want to see what this thing's going to do. I don't think he has something that can kill me in one hit. He's not carrying Psychic. He is going to go for the T-Wave, actually, so I should have switched in the Lantern. But, I mean, that's not the end of the world just because I do have Heal Bell. So that's perfectly fine. That also leads me to believe that this is defensive, and we're going to double check that right now because I'm going to go for a Drain Punch, and we'll see how much it does. But almost positive this thing is defensive now, which that's kind of a relief, but that also leads me to believe that that Probopass is going to be offensive because it just feels that way to me. I don't know. I have a gut feeling about that Probopass. It's going to be like Specs or something, which is kind of scary because I don't have much on my team for it, which means I really should have Stealth Rock up. That would be like the best thing ever, but I don't have Stealth Rock, so that's not going to happen. But at the same time, I mean, I do have Spikes, so that's going to help because we can break the Sturdy, and I'm going to need to save Metatite to be able to OHKO it with a high jump kick. So he does go for the Tri-Attack. That doesn't do too much, and yeah, that Drain Punch did not do much at all. That has to be defensive Porygon. I don't know if it's specially defensive or not, but I know it does have quite a bit of HP investment. But then again, what Porygon, other than Porygon Z, would not have HP investment? So, with that being said, we're pretty much right where we were the turn before, just with a little damage off on this thing. Kind of tempted to just set up another layer of something. But I feel like I'm also asking for a Para, and that would not be good. But I am going to try to set up more Toxic Spikes here. That extra layer is really going to help me out, I think. Especially if I can force this Porygon to switch out and then switch back in. And he actually is going to switch out here, predicting me to switch out, I think. And he's actually going to go right into the Sand Slash. So I'm not going to get this thing badly poisoned, but it is going to be taking 12% every turn from the regular poisoning. And unfortunately, we're not even going to get that other layer of Toxic Spikes up because we are going to be fully paralyzed there. So that kind of stinks. That really does stink. But we get the residual damage going. He doesn't have a Cleric, so I feel like that's still good. I think I just need to switch in Spectra here to prevent the Rapid Spin. If he sets up Stealth Rock, that kind of stinks because I have a Scyther. But it's not the end of the world because Scyther is not a win condition for me at this point. And he does go for the knockoff, which we can take thanks to our Colbur Berry. And actually, judging by that damage, we may have been able to just barely take it without the Colbur Berry. But we may be able to take another hit. Actually, we can take another knockoff now because we lost our item. So that's something. If he wants to try to kill me here, I am going to be able to get off a decent amount of damage with a Shadow Ball. Or I could even set up a Nasty Plot if I wanted to threaten whatever wants to come in afterwards. But he does have the Porygon, which would just be an easy switch in. So my best play here is probably to just go for a Shadow Ball for damage. I don't see him switching out because he's going to have to take more hazards coming back in. I'm going to predict a switch here and taunt him, actually. Or not predict a switch. Predict him to go for Stealth Rock here. And he doesn't. He actually just goes for knockoff. And wait a minute. Oh, it was a critical hit. I was like, there's no way that kills unless that was like super max damage. But he gets a crit to take out Spectra, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, the reason I wanted to taunt there, I don't know why I said I was predicting a switch. I wanted to prevent him from going for Stealth Rock because I felt like that would be something he might want to do just because Scyther could potentially be a problem for his team, especially if that Sawk turns out to not be Choice Scarf. But I could go out into Scyther here, but I can't kill this thing in one hit, though. That's the thing. I mean, Aerial Ace is going to do a lot, but that's just going to give him a safe switch into Probopass, basically. I don't know if he's going to avoid switching that in to keep his Sturdy intact, hoping to get off a Rapid Spin. But regardless of what I go into, he's most likely going to switch here. So I'm just going to go into Lantern because I think he's going to switch. Pretty sure he's going to. He's not going to want to take a Scald, even though he can hit me with an EQ. That's not going to kill in any universe. I do have quite a bit of defense investment on the physical side, and this is defensive Sand Slash because we saw the lefties. So yeah, he is going to pull the switch, and he's going to go right into Sapphire the Dragonair, which is going to get poisoned, which means that Scald has no chance to burn, unfortunately. He is going to take that hazard damage, which is nice. And this Scald's going to do absolutely nothing. It's pretty common for them to be specially defensive. So he's going to take special hits pretty well regardless of whether or not they're resisted. But we definitely don't want to stay in on this because he's going to be able to set up Dragon Dances all over the place. And he's going to go right for the rest. He's not going to allow himself to be weakened. So he wants to get rid of that poison immediately. And he might just wake up because of the Shed Skin. So, I mean, there's also the chance that he's Marvel Scale, too, because that is Dragonair's other ability, which does work well with the Rest Talk. So he's probably mono-attacking with Outrage as his only attacking move. It's usually what they run. Garbodor can somewhat handle it, I suppose. I mean, I can't really do much with Xatu. This thing is actually a big problem to my team. Yeah, I mean, taunting it with Miss Magius would have helped. But what I can do, I mean, really the only way I'm going to break this is if I get rid of his Eviolite. So I think my only play here is to go out into Scyther and go for a knockoff. If he does pull an Outrage, I don't think it's going to do that much without a boost because normally they don't actually use attack investment. Of course, I don't know what he's running. Could be some custom set, of course. But that's just what I know about the typical Dragonair set. So I'm going to go for the knockoff. That's my best play by far here. And I'm assuming he's going to want to stay in. Especially because he doesn't know what this Scyther set is. So him scouting to see exactly what I'm running could be very, very helpful. Because this Scyther could either just not be a problem for him, or it could be potentially a huge problem. Oh, he's actually going to switch. Okay. Fair enough. I thought he would stay in there. But he's actually going to go into Sand Slash. And because I am banded, I don't know if that was a good play because I think I might be able to take him out here. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to because I'm going to knock off his lefties. He's going to take the spikes damage plus the poison damage, and another knockoff will take him out even though he does not have his item, which means if this was his Stealth Rocker, Winfrey's going to be safe, and he also is not going to be able to rapid spin the hazards away. So I will be able to weaken and stall out, especially things like Rapidash, which could potentially do a lot of damage to my team. I can just go in with Lantern, and I can protect to rack up the the poison damage, and then Scald it. And there's really not much he can do to me, because Drill Run is not going to OHKO. So we're in a pretty good position here. Getting rid of Sand Slash is huge. I really did not expect him to go out into it there. Especially because if that's how much knockoff did, Aerial Ace would have definitely 2-hit KO'd. The only thing I can think of is that he predicted me to go for the U-turn there. Not really sure. I mean, to be fair, he didn't know what my set was either. I could be Scarf, I could be Banded, I could be Bulky SD. There was really no way for him to know because I haven't showed him a move yet. So there's that. So he's taking some time to think about his move, and I don't know what he's going to go out into. Possibly the Rapidash? No, he's actually going to go out into the Sock. Oh yeah, that's right. This thing is likely Choice Scarfed. At least that's what I'm thinking it is. Having this thing sturdy broken is nice, but I am locked into the knockoff, and I think that he knows that, judging by that damage. He may have actually just been calcing that. I don't know. But yeah, I am locked into knockoff, and I do not want to stay in on a Sock. So I am going to switch out. My safe switch is the Garbodor. He may predict that because I did it last time. And go right for the EQ here. I don't know if he's real enough for that. He is real enough for that. Very nice play by my opponent there. And somehow, some way, Garbodor lives that, which means this is definitely not Banded. This is definitely Scarf. That's Scarf damage, without a doubt in my mind. So now we know what this thing is. Which means if I get a couple more turns of poison damage off on it, I can just quick attack it. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Which also means, actually, I could just go right into something else here. I don't have to sack Garbodor at all. I can go into Xatu or right back into Scyther. But I'm going to go into Xatu, and then I'm going to U-turn, because that will allow me to keep the momentum up. So he is going to go for the EQ again because he has to. And I'm kind of surprised he didn't pull a double switch there, just because he has to know that now I'm aware that you're Scarf, just judging by that damage. But maybe he thought I was just going to sack it at that point to get a safe switch into something. But either way, I mean, it was a safe switch. So I'm going to U-turn. He has to switch at this point. And now when he comes back in via that hazard damage, it should be in a range where Scyther can take it out with a quick attack. So if need be, I can just sack Garbodor. So he is going to go back out into the Dragonair. And I am going to U-turn. And we will be able to get another safe switch right back into Winfrey. And I can go for a knockoff to get rid of this thing's Eviolite. He really doesn't have a switch into this. Like, this Scyther just... I really didn't think it was going to be win condition, and it's really not. Meditite is, just because of that Probopass. But it really just breaks down his team, especially because Sandslash is gone. So I will go for a knockoff here. That does so much damage, oh my goodness. And the Eviolite is gone. I'm pretty sure that he is just going to die to another knockoff. Just barely. I mean, unless we get low rolled. And unfortunately for him, he is going to pull the rest there with the Sleep Talk, which stinks because he could have got some damage off with an Outrage or been able to outspeed me, potentially. Actually, they don't run speed, so he may not have outsped at +1 because Scyther's pretty fast. I don't know. I guess it really just depends on what his spread was. If he had some speed and he had enough to outspeed Scyther, with Dragonair at +1, he could have roosted off that damage. But still having that Eviolite gone is pretty bad for him. And at this point, he has to try to live another knockoff. It doesn't really help him to switch out because he has to take the hazards coming back in. And if he doesn't get a safe switch, Spikes plus Poison, I think, might take him out from there. Or it would be really close. So his best play here is to try to rest again, I think. He knows I'm not... blah, 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 blah. Can't talk. He knows that I'm locked into knockoff, and really my only play here is to just go for it again. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, and it is barely enough to take out the Dragonair. Actually, it may not have been barely, just because he didn't have Eviolite anymore. So we didn't get the boost in the base power, but we did get the boost in the sense that, yeah, he didn't have that Eviolite protecting him anymore. So out comes the Sawk. And at this point, this is the best time for me to sack off Garbodor. And we'll see what he locks himself into, if he's going to go for EQ again or if he's going to go for knockoff, because that kills this thing anyway. Yeah, he does go for the knockoff. That is his best play at this point. And that means that he is going to have to take the aftermath. I can't talk. Oh my goodness. I can't pronounce words. I cannot pronounce anything. And the poison damage actually is going to take him out from there. So... EQ may have even been a better choice, but then he would have to switch out again, and, you know, I still get momentum either way, so, I mean, at least getting rid of the Garbodor is something, because then I don't have an easy switch into things like Rapidash to get extra damage off on it. In fact, he might go into that here, so I'm somewhat tempted to just go right into Lantern, but I'm actually going to go into, yeah, it is the Rapidash. I went into Meditite thinking maybe, just maybe, he was going to pull the Probopass there, but I think he's saving that for last. So out comes the Rapidash, and this thing could be Scarf too, and I don't know that I want to risk it. I also don't know that High Jump Kick will kill this thing. It could be close. But I'm not going to mess around with it, so I'm just going to go into Lantern. I definitely need Meditite. I also don't want to risk a miss if I don't have to, because I don't want that Probopass pulling this match back for him. So I'm going to try to play a little bit safer here, and I'm going to go right into Lantern, and I do eat up that Flare Blitz. Wow, that did nothing. He does show the Life Orb, so he's going to get worn down very, very quickly. All the recoil from Flare Blitz, and the poison damage, Life Orb, all that stuff. So he's going to go for a Drill Run. I know he's going to go for Drill Run. I'm so tempted to just go right into Scyther and then quick attack him. But we could also go into Xatu. I don't need Xatu for anything. I really don't. And if that Probopass is Specs and I miss High Jump Kick and lose to it, Xatu doesn't help me. Lantern kind of does, because I could potentially burn it with a Scald, and at least I can hit it super effectively. But at this point, Xatu is dead weight, so I am going to switch that out here. There's really no reason for me to hang on to it, so I will sack it. And he is going to go for the Drill Run, which means I rack up another turn of poison damage. And he's either going to go for Flare Blitz or Wild Charge if he has it. Not sure. Sometimes they have Mega Horn, so I don't know what he has. Yeah, he is going to go for the Mega Horn, and I'm just going to be able to roost off that damage. That doesn't even do half. He is going to take the Life Orb Recoil, and we're going to get back up to full. And we basically are just going to be able to essentially stall this thing out. Now, Xatu is pretty useless, so maybe I shouldn't be stalling it out. Maybe I should have not roosted. It doesn't really matter, though. I mean, I could just go for Psychic. It really means nothing, because, like I said, Xatu is just dead weight. I kind of want it to die anyway, so I can get a safe switch into something afterwards. That's basically what the goal is here, but we've essentially eliminated this Rapidash, which, to be fair, was not too big of a threat to begin with, and that Flare Blitz does a lot more damage than Mega Horn. It did like 70-ish%, and I'm going to Psychic nothing, basically, because he dies to the recoil. And at this point, what does he have left? He's got the Probopass, and what is his other Pokemon? Porygon? Did we kill the Porygon? I don't think we did. Pretty sure he switched it out. I don't remember killing it. I feel like I would remember something like that. Yeah, Ducky, there we go. The Porygon is here. So we have him poisoned, which is nice, and I take some Spikes damage, which is also nice, and he's going to trace the Magic Bounce, which is not so nice, but I'm mostly just going to be attacking this thing anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal. Take a quick look at my team. There's really nothing I want to switch in on this. Like I said before several times, Xatu is just dead weight, so I'm just going to go for Psychic for damage and hope that he kills me with the T-Bolt. Instead, he goes for the Thunder Wave, predicting me to switch out. That had to be a switch out. I know that he knows that Xatu has a Magic Bounce, so now he has to go for Recover, which means I have a chance to get a Spadef Drop or a crit, which could prove deadly. So we get a crit here. Yeah, this thing is dead. But he is going to take that Psychic. He's going to go for a Recover. He can go for a Recover again the next turn, because now he's, even after the poison damage, he's within a range where a crit Psychic will not kill him. So he's completely safe to go for a Recover again if he wants. And yeah, we're basically in the same position. I'm just trying to let this thing die. I shouldn't have roosted against Rapidash. I should have let it kill me, basically. But anyway, we'll go for a Psychic here, and he's going to show off the Foul Play. Very nice. I always forget that Porygon gets that, but that's pretty cool. So Foul Play, Recover, Thunder Wave, Tri-Attack. Did we see the Tri-Attack? Yeah, we did. We definitely did. I think he used it on Garbodor. That's a pretty cool set. I kind of want to try that. I mean, it probably could work specially defensive as well. But, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Maybe he is specially defensive, actually. I don't know. We never really did figure it out. And he is going to allow me to take it out, actually. So now we're going to at least be able to scout what that promo pass is. If he is lefties, he will be able to get back up to sturdy. If he is Air Balloon, then I guess he doesn't even take Spikes damage. But he's not Air Balloon, so I'm expecting a Rock-type move here, and I don't care. I guess I can just T-Wave to slow it down in case it's like Scarf or Rock Polish or something strange like that. And ensure that whatever I have, or whatever I want to bring in, is going to outspeed. But, I mean, my Meditite is Choice Scarfed anyway, so it should outspeed a Probopass. So I'll just go for a T-Wave before he kills me. And unfortunately, he's going to be fully paralyzed. Why is it so hard for me to kill my own Xatu? Why won't you die, Xatu? Come on now. That is like the only thing that's preventing this match from being over, basically. Because now that he's paralyzed, I don't know that he can win. He is going to go for the Power Gem, and that is going to take me out. We didn't see lefties on this thing, and it doesn't have Air Balloon. So I really think that it Specs. Which means that even a Specs Power Gem I don't think is going to kill Meditite here. But, I mean, if we miss a high jump kick, that's possible. But I'm going to go for it anyway. If it connects, the match is over. And it looks like it is going to connect, so Probopass is going to bite the dust, unfortunately. I kind of wanted it to do a little bit more, just because I had that hunch that it was offensive. I wanted to see it pick up a kill that was not a meaningless one against the Xatu that I was trying to sack for like 10 minutes. But still, that was a really, really fun match. So if you see TJ down in the comment section, and he will be down there because he's down there very often. He's a regular here on the channel. Give him a GG, and maybe he'll give some explanations on some of his plays or some of his sets that I was not able to offer because, you know, I can't tell both sides of the story. So that is pretty much that. I'm going to be using this team 2 more times so you get to see it in action a little bit more, and hopefully that Metatite will be able to pick up some kills. So I'm excited about that. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you're leaving a like, rating, or a comment, or whatever you would like to do, of course, and I will see you all next time. But until then, game on.